it might mean to someone who didn't get it. You understand? Yeah. So here we go to the 5 principles at Ellis Island that is not hidden. Matter of fact, it's so in plain sight you'll miss it. And it's 5 conquests, 5 principles. The first one is conquest. What does it say? Let me read it with you. Go ahead. Despite the myth that the North American lay empty and available for the taking, European explorers encountered over 200 different cultures whose ancestors had lived on this continent for thousands of years. Through art, stop right there. I came from Africa, over here to this white man's land. Do they not negate that lie with the very first thing? So we were like, I think maybe you have it on one of your Mantis views, and I think it's sit down and Eve and I sitting there and he says, wow, would you suggest that people bring their children to Ellis Island to learn? Yeah, yes. Anywhere but the daggone schools that are just stealing your children right out from under you because that's their goal. The vampires for real. They just showing you who they really, really, really are. They're taking them straight out of the hospitals. Now you can't even bring them home. And then they're giving them to the so-called fathers because they implemented the patriarchal by telling him that the child was his and giving him food stamps. So now they don't have to take the child. You do. Some twisted stuff. When everybody comes from mother. How the hell does this happen? That's another class. And it's really a class we'll do later. Let's deal with this. Because this is the conquest. Now right there, that just destroys all that. But nobody's coming nationally to Ellis Island. None of us are, because we have no reason to. But every other national in the world might see that. But you. Through what? Armed what? Conflict. Europeans seized the land and claimed it for settlement. This often entailed enslaving, subjugating, or removing native people to reservations against their will. Disease. Trump just said that anybody call themselves Indian, he's going to put them on a boat to Hindustan. Y'all heard that, right? That's an executive order. Did y'all know? Wow. Did you know? You heard about it? Oh, this is great stuff.
It's a good thing.
I want to talk about it. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Because nowhere in here did they call the people they found here Indians. Native Americans. Natives, period. The natives, or did I say Native Americans? So, disease was intended instrument of conquest. Millions of Native Americans died from foreign viruses to which they had no resistance. They didn't even mean to use it, but they use it on purpose now. Because they already know that they bring disease because they're lesser, the body, we're made differently. We're alkaline, they're acidic. They also have a different...
Odor.
The odor? Did you say odor? Can you identify what that odor is? Because I can tell you. Oh, he acted like he didn't say that. He looking to see himself. You just know it doesn't smell very well? It doesn't smell very well, right?
It's called, pass.
Who?
I can't think, but I'll come back to it.
Oh, pass.
Sulfur.
Sulfur?
Yeah, it's called sulfur.
I don't know what sulfur smell like that. It don't smell like sulfur to me. I went to an all-European, if you will, high school and middle school. Well, not the elementary, but from middle or junior high on up. I had to take gym classes with them. And I know what, and I'm not lying, what a dog smells like. Now, that's a fact. That's not getting on nobody's case. What we need to think about is, well, why is that? Because somewhere in there, there's animal. So, You can go to the grafting of Yakub, and the Nation of Islam people would tell you about that, and you would think they was crazy. They wasn't crazy about that. But that is a whole nother lesson. So let's move on. So, but it's important to know who is who and what is what and who you're dealing with. And so please let me tell you about the Hindustani thing and why it's happening. It's crazy. There's 5 principles here. So after their conquest, they found you here. Then they colonized. Colonization is number 2. What is that? That's when European nations colonized the Americas to exploit natural resources, engage in commerce, create new communities, and there it is, convert native people to Christianity. That's their intent. There it is. Spain, France, Holland, England, and other Euro powers claim different parts of what would become the United States. Of what would become the United States. Did you hear that? That's not what it was. And it still ain't what it is. All right. They battled one another as well as the Native Americans to gain dominance and control trade and territory. Excuse me, have you seen the word Indian here yet? No? Okay. All right. And also, we know they brought Christianity and wasn't here. You could go into the congressional records. This country is not built on Christian religion.
Right.
It's the biggest thing that we really have to get clear so we don't offend our mamas and our aunts and our uncles and all these generations have been good Christians and Lord and all that.
Amen.
Okay, so after conquest, then they colonized. It's all making real good sense now, right? And after colonizing, they migrated. They migrated. Well, of course they migrated. Because at this point, they're saying, come on over, Anthony. Come on, bring the dog, bring Toto, bring everybody. Migrate over here. They're not hiding it. This is not thoughts that I'm giving you. This is real. This is on. Each one of these is on a plaque that sits about this high, and I think there's a different color. I think we took a picture of it on our phone. Each one is a different color. And it's 5 of them. And they go directly against the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Because they go directly into the principle of stealing somebody's stuff and disregarding human life. Directly. So now it's like, come on over. So beginning tens of thousands of years ago, people migrated to North America, I typed this, so it should be North American. Oh, it is.
Yeah,
and the land. All right, hold on. Beginning tens of thousands of years ago, people migrated to North America and the land that now makes up the United States. Well, they're going to tell you how it does, too. It's all an illusion. They tell you right here. They just decided that they was going to say that it is what it is. Watch how they explain that. So now, in the 16th century, new groups made the journey, coming from Europe, Africa, Asia. Today, people continue to arrive in large numbers from every part of the globe, regardless to when they journeyed. Now, hold on. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. Everybody was coming here. Do you know that I'm going to show you a map where all the colonists was all over? I mean, all these people were all over. Everybody was living here. It was all great. It was all good. French, everything was everything. But there's a specific group of people that smell like dogs that came over and couldn't be settled with what was going on and had to be thieves. Because of their own plight. Because they were true slaves. And they wanted to make sure that they wouldn't remain that way. They were trying to escape. So, but check it out. Migration. It's the third leg. So now we're going to migrate. conquest, colonize, and we're going to tell everybody to come on, let's do it. And that's what happened. And that's what you got at Ellis Island, when all of them was coming over in the droves, on boats. They had no shirt on their back, and had no clothes, and nothing. Yes?
And in the movie Godfather, when you
and the gangs of New York, too.
If you look at the when they're having a clips of Ellis Island, especially I think it's Godfather 2, and they're showing Vito when he was younger, and when he came to Ellis Island, you'll actually notice in those lines when they're so-called quote unquote giving them people their immigration paper.
Whatever, and you have nothing now. Yes. You got the mic?
Yeah. They let out their jails, which consisted of murderers, robbers, and thieves.
Beggars and thieves. Thank you. Now that's the truth.
That's right. All undesirables.
And turn you into that. Hurting your soul, got you hurting yourself and hurting your people. Because the problem is, started thinking like the colonists until little Drew only came and started dropping thing. I'm telling you, it's true. So, regardless, now here's some interesting stuff. Regardless to when they journeyed, they left their homelands as immigrants in search of new opportunities and freedoms. But they arrived as what? Immigrants who worked, struggled, and adapted to a new world. Wait a minute. They're the immigrants. Admit it. So how do they talk about, well, we're going to build a wall for Mexico, and who's coming in as immigrants, you know? Are you an immigrant? You can't. Who is saying that? The immigrants. Are you kidding me? This is real talk, but this is real talk. This is real talk. This isn't a public. This isn't Ellis Island. They didn't turn into something other than what they were. Now the difference between immigrant and immigrant, I don't know. You might want to know the difference between that because I had to figure it. I wanted to know too. It's simple. When you are set off to sea, in between, when you de facto leave from your homeland. And you go, you know how you get on that raft, and you might not know where you're going or where you're going to end up in. You are immigrant. You're emigrating. But when you get to wherever you're going, once you land there, here comes an immigrant. Okay? And that leads me to like lately people have been talking, you know, because we're talking about, you know, going off and being in between. And so some people think that we are in between and we're vessels and boats and, you know, ships and stuff, and we're writing grits, talking like that. We should never do that, because we are not that. We are not a boat. That's why you don't really need a passport, because it's for boats to pass the port. That's what it's originally for. That's what it's going to always be for. When there's nothing new necessarily under the sun, and you can stand on that if you know that knowledge, just like you can stand on your card if you know it. So when we say, yes, I am a vessel, but I am no longer lost at sea. Like, I'm going to tell you why they do that. Because the true sea that you were on is in your mother's womb. And they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to bring the real issue about from where you come into the picture. It's real. Nothing personal against no one. It's just real. That's what it is. Because otherwise, in that being truthful, you know that the only way that you are lost on the sea is if your mother is lost. Which is why this is for women. Which is why the nation is in the woman's womb. Well, she comes here with it in her womb. It's for her. This message is really for her. Because then she is what brings in everyone else. And then he is to honor that as a good steward. That's the truth and the honest truth. So now we're walking around, I'm a vessel lost at sea. I'm no longer lost at sea. Let me go let the Pope know. He's all the way over here somewhere. What the hell's it got to do with you here? The ghost was given up already. This is my position. This is what I see. He came to Philadelphia. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say Philadelphia. I can't help it. I be laughing and teasing, but it is. You should see City Hall. It was a beautiful place. It's not anymore. They even took out the astrology wheel. So to me, that's dirty. That's dirty work. So he came and gave up the ghost. That's it, he's done. Anything else is corporate stuff. It has nothing to do with you. If it's even that. But it's like Pontius Pilate, when he washed his hands, and we're so clouded we can't see that.
That's exactly
That's exactly
what it was.
what it was. He came and gave up the ghost. He even said, listen to his tape. He made sure that he recorded his speech on the Congress floor in English, belaboring himself to be able to speak English so that nobody would translate it wrong. But he took his time to say it, so it wouldn't be translated wrong. And he said, well, what are these? He told them, we're but immigrants here. We're but foreigners. He told them on the Congress floor that. He said, why are the people, the Aboriginal people, sleeping on the floor? Talking about you. What more do, now I understand why the prophet said, what do you want me to do, kill you? I understand why you said it, that same type of position. Like, didn't you see that he came and gave up the ghost for real? Like okay, we didn't see it. Okay, well, all right, then that's because we're still in the mental slavery. That's all. And if it's brought to our attention, we'll see it. But if it's never brought to our attention, we'll follow down a road that might not work out too well, because that is not important to what's happening right now. Matter of fact, it's not even relative. Yes, you had your hand up.
Yes, I was wondering, how would one stand on your square, or what documents do you need to provide in order for you to travel from one nation to another, like via airport?
Oh, you mean to go over the fictitious borders of the seas?
Right, without a passport.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I know people who do that. I'm going to tell you that I have never gone over the seas, but I have used the card and flown within the continent, and I know many people who've done that. But I do also know that because of what we believe to be what's right, which is really what was wrong, we don't have, and we're even afraid or unsure, that might be the word, or don't believe that it can be true, or don't believe that it can be real. Like, how do I handle this with that? See it as an identification card that identifies you. Just to hear what I'm saying. Like any other one. Then look up what identification is. Right? And then know that as an Aboriginal, as indigenous rights, right? Because if you're Aboriginal, you're indigenous, but if you're indigenous, doesn't mean you're Aboriginal. So with the indigenous rights, right? Indigenous affirmations, let me put it that way, because it's not rights. You're born with your rights. Nobody gives them to you. So the affirmation, it says that you, as an indigenous being, have the right to establish your own identity that must be respected.
Must.
Not could be, shall be, must. If all of us were to enforce that, we wouldn't even have a problem about it, would we? No, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then also know that, all right, let me look up what identity means. And then also say, all right, let me look up the laws regarding identity. What does it have to say? And say, for instance, the card we have, it says much more than what it needs to, but it says everything that it has to. It covers every aspect. Can't penetrate it. For real, for real. I'm saying. So then you say, all right, well, if I go to a place and I do not have their preferred identification card, I must have two of whatever I got. That's all. Right? Then make sure you have two. That's why the more Moorish ID you have, the better. I mean, I'm not selling that, but I'm just saying. So for me, say the national ID and then the student card works really well together for some reason. I don't know why, it's like magic. It's the second ID. If you don't have the card that we prefer, you must have two of something else.
That's what that I-9 form say.
Oh, you didn't do that. That's the other thing. When we were talking about this, this is going to help us with the Indian thing so we can wash that away. And then the SF, you talking about the SF 181 or the I-9?
No, I said the I-9 is on the I-9.
Oh, the I-9 is the
Yeah, when you
agricultural
don't have
thing.
their Section A listings of what they want from you from the said employer, since they're under contract with the IRS and the state, they'll ask for you to column B and column C, and they'll actually say in the wording.
Nobody can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Did we finish your question? You have another question?
yeah,
Let
let
him
me-
finish
no,
what he stated,
yeah.
and then we'll go back to it.
Like on the I-9,
There was one time when I was till I learned what hospital really was. But before on the I-9, you know, if you don't have their quasi-national documentation, as they call, I guess, a so-called license or anything like that, they'll say, well, here's this list of what we will accept in our corporation. And they do actually have something listed as like Native American documentation or tribal information. Now, if you know how to navigate by knowing that those are code words, you will know that what they're alluding to is really if you're, because they can't really deny you because that's moral duress, but if you know how to navigate the wording and then stand on your square as a national, you know that you are the, and this is redundant as well, but the Native American. But if you actually say it by being it here first, it wouldn't be like, for example, say you know, show your card in another situation, I guess like tax situation, you're at the market, instead of saying, do y'all accept the tax exemption? That's different than, right. You gotta kind of be like, hey sis, that's a beautiful hairdo you got. Look, this is gonna be a sales tax
You
exempt.
gotta be sassy with nobody either.
No, I'm just saying though, but you're not gonna be like, you don't want to be like scared. You want to be sure.
Not sure.
You know?
It's called not sure.
Oh, okay.
It's called insecure and not sure. So let us be real. Why wouldn't we be insecure and not sure? We have never had to do this.
right?
The people that you're giving it to and showing it to has never had to get anything, has never received anything like this from you. When they say we've never seen it, they're not lying. So with that being in mind, then you automatically know there's a certain way that you have to handle this. But the one way that you don't handle it is to act as if you're not sure yourself. I'm going to put it to you like this. If you come somewhere and you're not sure, why the heavens do you think they're going to be sure? It's not going to happen. Because they can't even go back anywhere and find nothing. Just, you know, I mean, they're not going to have to, but it's not of their interest. They're corporations. Corporations can't issue anything to flesh and blood beings. They can't. So now, the surety must come from you to convince, not to convince, but to convince that you know what it is that you're in. And you know what? At some point, it just has to happen that way. Because once you first get this right, you still got the old ID in your pocket, you know, whatever like that. And we're going to be real.
There you go.
Nobody just jumps into this thing and jumps right into it like, yeah, you know, look at me. I'm the marvelous one with the marvelous light, and I got all the answers. That's why you got to study until you show yourself approved and you feel comfortable about it. But you're never really going to feel comfortable about it until you go through it. Gosh, it's a conundrum. It's a conundrum.
It is.
But you have to go through with it. I mean, it's kind of like a conundrum because you're going to, it's your choice. You're forced to make changes now. You're either going to do it or you're not. That's it. You're either going to be who you say you are or you're not going to be who, you're either going to honor your mothers and fathers by name and by principle or you're not. And there's no in-betweens. Let me tell you why. Please let me tell you what I think is happening, for what I think is happening. Y'all share with me with this sending the people who call themselves Indians back to Hindustan. It's a beautiful thing in a way, but I just don't want to not finish. There's only two more on here on the things. I don't want to do that. So here we are. So they arrived as immigrants who worked and struggled and adapted to a new world. Now that's the third leg. Okay, all right. We know that the fourth was enslavement. Yes.
The last fourth was
That last 4 is supposed to be a 5.
You made
Make-
a correction right now.
This is a 5.
You coming?
I don't know what this
So
is.
that's a 4 right there.
Yeah, this is a 5 because I said I typed this before I left, right before I left, and yeah, and I meant to yeah. This is a 5. I don't know if you can change it. Is that is that a word? That's a word. Take it off if you can, and just make it 5. Oh, well, you might not be able to because it's already built in.
Yeah.
But that might be a JPEG. Is that a JPEG?
I don't think so. It's the publisher, right?
Yeah. Okay. So hit in front of the annexation. Yeah. And then because it's bulleted, just go up to format.
We'll get it.
Well, if you go backwards, oh, there you go. That's another way to do it. Thank you. That's the other way. I was gonna say that, but no, right, but right now it's not gonna. That's why it's gonna now return. All right, it's 5. It just doesn't have the space. We'll do the space later because then it's gonna. If you return, it's gonna think it's it. That's number 5. So. First, now we're on 4, enslavement. European colonial powers enslaved more than 10 million West Africans and transported them to the Americas and the Caribbean. 500,000 enslaved people were brought to the United States, forcibly moved across continents to fill a ravenous hunger for labor. These men and women created the agricultural might of the nation. Their enslavement played a role in both building the nation and in tearing it down. Now, what did I tell you earlier? You said you came from Africa, because we already know we was already here. We know what American is, right? It's the various copper tone people found on the continent by the Europeans. That's us.
That's right.
But in the 4th leg of their stuff, they did go to the coast of Africa, and they did enslave some people with the help of other Moors.
That's right.
Because the slavery trade was a good trade, as far as they're concerned. It wasn't good. It's inhumane. But they were in slavery first. That's why they're Slavics. That's why they have a quest to be free, etc., like that. You know what I mean? But so enslavement did happen. But we didn't all come over here on a slave boat because we were already here. The definition of America means the various copper tone people found on the continent by the Europeans. They didn't teach you that in school, but that's what it is. So therefore, that's us. But now let's go to the fact that some Africans were put over here, again, enslaved by their own people to keep the slave trade. They went to the coast, just like it says, and they brought them over. And if you read some of the books that are coming out now, they brought them over because those from the coast of Africa, they already knew how to work the land and all that. Modern Europeans, they didn't know nothing. They didn't know that. So they were here, nothing in regards to that. So they already knew how to do it. So they brought them here. That's why when you get to the Constitution, law of the land, ending slavery and stuff like that, it says, if you African, just make sure you remember, you ain't never going to be able to be a member of this because we hope we're confining or at least tempering down these animals by giving them a law of the land and extending the olive branch of peace. This is how you have to behave on our land. We'll make sure that the Moorish pirates don't pirate you while you come through the sea, through the Treaty of Peace, and we're going like that, because war was going on here in this land because of the harmony that was here by all of the different people who were here in the first place. And slavery. So it ended it, right? And it says, now remember, you can't be a citizen of that, which means we sure can be, right? And if you want to, Mr. You're from Africa, the Congress will help you to go back to Africa and colonize over there. Right. So this sad story about I need to go back to Africa, that's where I came from and all that. No, that opportunity has always been there, if that's the case. And this is why you find people in Africa that's not coming to claim you. Us. Because we have a false knowledge of that history. So here is the enslavement portion that happened. But not all of us, as you know, in the beginning were slaves. Were ever slaves. Some of us were never slaves. If you watch, what's that series now, Underground? Yeah. Or, no, watch, because some of that stuff is, not actually telling all the truth, but watch the Book of Negroes. The Book of Negroes was only a 6-week thing, and in it, the European walks up to the sister, when that light hits you. The European walks up to the sister and says, you saw that?
No, I had the series.
You have the series? You haven't watched it yet. Not finished. Okay, walks up to the sister. To the sister. Hear me what I say. The European walks up to the sister and says, Are you what did she say? Are you a Tory? Because it's Tory Morris. And she says, no, I'm not. She was one of the ones who came off of this slavery, but she was free at the time. And then he says, the European says to her, well, good, because we're not going to be slaves anymore.
What?
That's what I mean. What? But those are the key things that you need to know in order to move forward. Because otherwise you're stuck. We're stuck in a place that's a lie. So then our life there's a lie. All right. Annexation is the last one. Annexation is the claiming of new territories by a government. I don't know what government. I don't know who. Through war. Okay. Or through treaty or purchase. The United States expanded its territory by annexing areas that had once belonged to other nations, especially the Native Americans, France, Spain, Russia, Mexico, and Hawaii. While the people, now listen to this sentence right here, while the people who inhabited those annexed territories did not physically move, they didn't go nowhere. Do you understand what they're saying? Tonight you went to bed and it was a Maxim, and you woke up and it's called New Jersey.
That's right.
That's all they're saying. They still found themselves living in a new country and encountering new people and new challenges. How is that possible? I didn't go anywhere.
Well,
I didn't go anywhere. So that's what annex, that's bold right here. That means annex, it means I'm going to annex. You got a bag right there. I'm going to annex, make that an annexation to what I got over here just because. That's what it means. So let them call what they want to call, but you need to know what it is for you. That's all this is about, is coming out of the mental slavery and correcting it. Those are the 5 principles. Corrected it in your mind, not somewhere else. You first. Those are their 5 principles. Each one of them go directly against love, because if you love, you don't conquer people. Yeah. Truth. Colonization means the truth is this ain't your stuff. You're a colonist. Peace. How you gonna find peace if you're even in the position of having to migrate to daggone self you're not even self?
Peace is the cessation of movement.
Yes, it's cessation of movement. Yes, peaceful people entering a conscious environment. That's what the sister Rahsmariah Bey out of New York put that on a card. I thought it was wonderful. But yeah, there it is. Love, truth, peace, freedom. Well, no, freedom is up with slavery. Enslavement, there ain't no freedom in enslavement. And that's not justice. Because it's such that, listen, annex means I just decided that that's going to be called Texas, and it's mine. We're going to annex it to it. Now all of a sudden it's a part of what we got here. Sitting in the chair. We done conquest, we done colonized, we done migrated, ADM and everybody here, yep. And we done enslaved some people for the purpose of doing the work. So now let's see. I want that over there. Yep, that's mine. And I want that over there. That's what it is. That's why it's important for you to call it what it really is for you.
Yeah.
That's why. So now, what about, and I think we'll end, what time is it?
We got 12 after 11.
Oh, yeah. What about this recent President Clinton saying in all those executive order, who Indians shall be sent back?
Trump, President Trump.
Oh, did I say Clinton? No more. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? President Trump of the United States of America Corporation saying that, and then making an executive order which really has nothing to do with you, because it's a corporation. He's the president of that corporation. And it says that if you're Indian, all them Indians, he's so ignorant, it's gonna go back, it's gonna be sent in a boat, ship, back to Hindustan. You hear me? Because we call what was Hindustan India, right?
Yes.
Now here's the funny thing. One thing I can guarantee you, if that were gonna happen, because it won't, that's just like the travel ban didn't work, because of this reason. If that were gonna happen, I can guarantee you the true Hindustan nationals will not be on that boat. Because they know that they're nationals. Because they know who they are. And they know that you're calling yourself Indian. It's national status time, as we call it. For real and for real. Now hold on. This is what's interesting. Of course, he said some things that showed his true ignorance, because he's really, you know, I thought Bush was bad. I don't know which was worse, but I don't really care. Doesn't matter, because it's so obvious that we should be able to see that we want to be like these people, and they're showing you that they're desperate right now and ignorant and murderers and thieves. So he said things like, yeah, I've seen the movies with them cowboys and Indians, and they just go around shooting bows and arrows and killing the American people. Did y'all know he actually said that? Yes! I'm trying to tell you, it's like, what more do we need to see that we're walking in the wrong direction and think there's anything over there for us, anything in it? He actually said it. I said, oh my goodness, he sounds like a little pouting little baby boy, because he didn't get his way. You know, he went to try to get, want to overturn, what was it? It's something he wanted to do, and we're going to change the laws so that we can get the 34% of the votes instead of whatever. We're going to only need to get 20% of the votes instead of 50 or something crazy. So basically he's talking about trying to change the Constitution. Not going to happen, because it's a written instrument, and as such it cannot be altered. What it meant when it was adopted, it means now. The problem is the people aren't enforcing it, as Prophet Nubuju Ali said, so that you will not be molested by these other citizens, because that's what they're doing, molesting you. It can't change. All right? So now, the other interesting part about this Indian thing is that look at all the people that we have been telling, that you have been telling, stop calling yourself Indians. Do you see the word Indian anywhere in here? Anywhere? No. If you call yourself in these national times an Indian, it means that you don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you would believe that you should be on the boat. This is just a cleanup. You got these group of people over here that want to honor their mothers and fathers, won't take their place of amongst the affairs of men. They're calling themselves Indians. Let us ship them away because they're not worth anything anyway. They won't even honor themselves and their mamas and daddies. That's the time it is. So we can make an executive order and tell them they have to do this and they have to do that. Why? Because if they knew who they were, they would know that they can't make an executive order that tells me that I have to do this and I have to do that. Do you get it? So in other words, we're going to walk ourselves right back into these places even though it's open if we don't really get this. Now, this is interesting because there's people that's diverting and saying we're Indian and all that kind of stuff. Was like, all right, well, I got something for you now. Because you got a group out there talking about still out the SF 181. You know, to do that, to fill that out. Do you know that that's just a classification that has nothing to do with anthropological information at all? And it's a classification that was made up that has nothing to do with you. But then you're going to go sign in and it tells you to say you're Indian. So what has happened is enough Moors have said they're Indian where they can sweep them away.
Yeah.
They can say, all right, they don't have it yet. So since they're saying they're Indians, let's bring them on over here. That's all that it is. That's all that it is. It's a recognition that we haven't reached that place yet where we have full acceptance or knowledge and then acceptance and then application of who we are and national principles. That's it, that's all. There's nothing else. It's just a constant. Okay, yeah. What? Fill out that stuff, 181? Yeah, let's everybody do that. What? Birth certificate redemption? Yo, do it that way? Yeah, let's everybody do that. Everything except just be who we are. And so what it is look, let's say they're still doing that. Oh, now they're doing this over here. Round them up, because time is coming short. And that's the feeling they are having, that situation. So I wanted to say this, interesting because it comes at the heels of people still wanting to say, like even if, that they're Indians. Like people want to say that they're everything except for who we are. And when I say it's in your face, it's in your face. The force to make changes, if you didn't understand it, what it means, don't worry about it. You will, but it's only gonna be your thing, not mine. Mine's gonna be mine. Yours gonna be yours. Yours gonna be yours. And you will have to make a decision because man, that's mine. And you will know something's going on even if you don't know what it is. And you will make a decision. And you will make a decision based on what you got going on in your mind and what you think you can create for yourself at that time. And that means that you've given up from thinking somebody else is supposed to create it for you. So that's my take on the Hindustan vote going back over. Oh, and one last thing. I had somebody tell me that the word citizen now means terrorist. Have y'all heard that? Okay, but that's okay. What he was trying to explain to me, and he's right. He's very right in that on their list, and this is my last thing, on their list, if you say you're a citizen, because see, you're a national. There is no time, no space, no place for wiggle room. You're going to be forced. So I understand what he's saying because many of us think also that we can be citizens of the U.S. that egg or citizens of something that we're not, because citizenship is based on the national first and foremost, and then there's rights of it. You know what I'm saying? And so I understood what he was saying, but I'm telling you how serious it's getting now. Is that you're going to have to be real, straight, clear, secure, jurisdiction, right word. That's what it really means. I don't care what they tell you. It means that is what it means. And again, we know many people who have traveled, and then there's people who travel and they get messed up. But the goal is this, in my opinion, to travel is the primal basis liberty. This broad, a whole lot of liberties. You can read them all, read them. They're all, liberty means a lot. But at its most simplest place, it is the ability to go to and fro without hindering. And that's what's attacked. And I know that it depends on where you are and what your energy is, whether or not that's going to happen to you or whether or not it does happen. And we can all say, well, it depends on how you handle it, and yes, your energy and all that, and it divine law does govern all events. But the fact that it's happening is the problem, not just for me, but for all of us, because it ought not be going down. Because it's unlawful. Because they are the actual law breakers, not you. That's how serious it is. Because they're operating that federal program, I know Eddie's going to break that down, from the Department of Transportation, right? For drivers only. Definition of driver is one who is actually behind that wheel for the purpose of getting paid. The USC Title 49 expresses that. When you go to read it, it says it on the first line. That's what it's for. It's not for people to travel otherwise. It's just not. But it doesn't, but that's how they generate revenue and keep you from liberty. It's very, here's the problem. Now the driver's license instrument can't be used at airports. Everybody's got a problem now. They got a problem now. Because they have to issue another one. But what was wrong with the first one is going to be wrong with the second one if it doesn't say what your nationality is. And excuse me, but you can't issue a nationality card to me because you are not even a national homicide. You can't do it. So, like I said, then we have, exactly. That's why it is a problem. And then the real ID, it's all, oh, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Well, excuse you, but that thing you call the identification, the driver's license, can't be used anymore at the airport because it never was that. So we need to ask ourselves that. So then, like I said, you have people who will take the Lodial information, put a barcode on it because they're bringing the European stuff into the Lodial stuff and destroying it. And contaminate. It's not just, oh, it's pristine and pure. It's that there's still people out there that want your body. There's still people out there that want you. There's still people out there that want to put you in captivity one way or another. When you show that you don't really know, you make yourself avail because you would never do that if you knew better. And if you did do it, then you're a COINTEL infiltrator. And you're still going to get yours for that. And that means you're going to bring other people to come through that same way. And so it's a problem. All of it is a problem. So it's time to get it straight because we're all going to be forced to make changes. They're right in front of us right now. Puerto Rico just went bankrupt. Puerto Rico, the biggest U.S. corporation, bankrupt, they say. I thought that was Puerto Rico. No, it's a corporation. The people are bankrupt. So, same thing here. U.S. bankrupt. But because we've been so used to thinking they're something they're not in terms of government, in terms of what am I going to do? That's where our minds are. So that's my take on the Indian getting on the boat. I swear there would be some crazy stuff to see some people getting on the boat going to India because they don't know who the hell they are. No, I don't think it's going to ever happen, but it could. It's dangerous, but it could. It's like a Tonka toy offering. It's not really real, but if you take it, sure, we'll take you. No, I'm serious. It's just going to be that simple. It's not really real, but if you go for it, no problem. We'll do it. Tacitly acquiesce. So that's it. Is there any questions? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you have a question?
Yes.
And then,
Yes, I know you mentioned about.
Turn the mic on, bro. It's just a little button. There you go.
Yeah, I know you mentioned about the, with the tax thing and how to stand on your square with being taxed. Well, I know that if we're doing forms, that's kind of connecting you with some kind of attachment, being that if you fill out forms, so stand on your square is basically like just.
You can fill out forms.
Okay, okay.
Depends on how you fill it out and what you say. That's where you go into how to live within quote unquote contracts.
Exactly, okay.
Not that it necessarily is a contract, but that's what it's called. That's what it means. You know, you can fill it out. Like for instance, they had forms that were filled out and they had this is a great example. They had Indian on it, right? And then they had government, and then they had something else. I can't remember. I say like at Walmart. And so like we told people don't do Indian. Well, what happened is that surely enough, because that's federally reserved. See, there's federally reserved.
Exactly.
Okay. So what happened is they decided to make a change for them. And now that same place, for instance, says if you mark Indian, it means that we've made a change now. You have to pay taxes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
So,
All right.
I just want to be clear on that because
Yeah.
there's a lot of trickery involved. So yeah.
And you're not a nonprofit organization. You could be a sole proprietor yourself, but you're not, but your status of whatever you're doing, it's your proper person status that makes you non-tax obligated. I call it TNO, tax non-obligated. You know how they remark and stuff? You go TNO.
The birthright.
Exactly, you're not obligated to it. And as we said earlier, it's a sales tax, not a buyer tax.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, we had to do it, and we wrote a letter, and it was that way. To the persons, I mean, you know, I don't want to get into that too much, but, you know.
They play games out here.
Well, it's a matter of how you write it, what you say, and how you stand. Now, that's where the energy comes in at.
Exactly.
If you know, and then the spirit of what you're thinking goes into the writ that you write, and all of that plays a part of it. All of it, because you're going to get back whatever you put out, good, bad, or indifferent.
I'm learning Islam.
Yes. All right, you got me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he has a question.
Beyonce and brother Dominic. He tapped the computer from other bros. You still want to go? I don't know.
How? My question is, how do you go about getting back the taxes that you paid already?
I'm going to draw another cloud around your head again. Say, time you ask a question, I have to say, dude, and then you're like, oh yeah. What the hell do you think you're going to get back? They don't have any money. And if you come into it, and even go into suits, looking for finance, you're in the wrong place. They are bankrupt, been bankrupt.
So if I've given them thousands of dollars, it's literally nothing that I can.
Okay, let me explain to you why. I got you now.
Okay.
The reason why you can't is because everything you gave them in law is called the gift. You want to know why? Because you didn't have to give it to them. You can't even find no law nowhere that says you do. It's a contribution. And contributions mean that it's voluntary. I don't care whether they tricked you. That's the truth. All right? So if you want to get back the gift you gave them, that's a wrestle between you and them, but they're not, that's it. It's real.
Yes,
You got me now?
yes, thank you.
All right.
Brother Dominic.
Yes. And then you.
And I just wanted to make a quick comment. And I'm a person that usually have a whole lot of questions too.
It's okay. That's all
I
right.
found that the literature just answers it all. You want to know about taxes, mores and civics. You want to know about your birthright. It's all there, and you won't have to wait for someone to give you the answer. And that's why it's more of a mental than anything else. When I can't even get through all the material, but I come and I just purchased it anyway, and because it's a lifetime that we should have been getting from birth. So every day, every week, I just take, okay, civics this week, I'm just gonna focus on civics. This week, I'm gonna focus on, history, so on and so forth. But everything we wanna know, how to fill out forms, it's all there.
Thank you.
Just wanted to say it's on the meds right now. You got to
Well,
Peace. You echo my sentiment. That's what I was going to say. You need to read the literature, and I was going to ask you, what resources of literature do you have available? Do you have your fourth edition Black's Law Dictionary?
Yes.
Do you have any of those things? You don't have a law dictionary? So you need to get to the basics, study, you know what I mean? And definitely get your literature and work that out in your mental, because that's where your first fight is going to start. So, you big publications?
I would like to add.
Yes.
Hold on. My fault. Excuse me. Oh, all right. And just another thing. When it comes to trying to get things back, and you might not be able to relate to this because you don't have a dictionary, but look up Just Habendi. J-U-S, and then the word Habendi. Habendi. If you're trying to recover something back that belongs to you, this is something you need to know about. J-U-S.
Can you spell that again?
Yeah, J-U-S. H-A-B-E-N-D-I.
B-E-N-D-I, right?
Yes.
Habende.
Yeah.
It's so just, that's the law.
H-A-B-E-N-D-I. Just
H-A-B-E-N-D-I. What does it say? What does it mean?
Here you go, let the brother read it. Who had that question about getting
The
something?
brother in the back?
Keontae?
Go ahead and read it.
Just a Bendy, right? Alright, here you go. Keontae. Let me find this in your back. Got it. So we found the prefix just, we need to find the H for Bendy. There you go. So what page is it on, bro?
This is page 997,
Black's Law Dictionary.
Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, Just Habendi. The right to have a thing, the thing right to be put in actual possession of property, Lewin Trust, 585.
Say that again?
He reads the case law on it.
The right to have a thing, the right to be put in an actual possession of property, Lewin Trust, 585.
In lieu of the trust. Okay, lieu of.
No, that's
the reference.
Okay.
Lewis Trust is the reference.
Right.
But Just Habendi is the right to be put in possession of the thing. So, like, let's say they stole someone's car, right? Let's say they kidnapped somebody for travel and they stole their car. You know, when you start going in on your due process of law to recover back what's yours, you might want to consider these things, you know, what you're going to title your writ. You might want to do a writ of Just Habendi, get your stuff back, you know, or at least put it on the record, but that's what you endeavored to do. So you got to know the language, and you don't want to jump in the Antarctic with whales and polar bears, and you don't know how to swim, you know, so the material you need is in your hands right now. I suggest you get that. Henry Campbell, Black's Law Dictionary. Design.
I wanted to add real quick, Mother Prize, to what y'all was saying, since the brother did had asked, if you go on rvbaypublications.com on the open readings tab, it's more than a wealth of information for getting your feet wet on an introductory level and a neophyte level. You'll see a 2009 revised PDF by Brother Todd Sharif Bey. It's called How to Live Within Contracts. I would download it yesterday. And as well as information, I guess I could just give, a brief quick announcement after this. If you was to get today from Mother Rahs, the Moorish Civic Service, it's the Hot Pink book. It's the only Hot Pink book in the collection. And I think it's great that it is the Hot Pink book, because when we're doing study classes, like little study sessions and stuff, we'll refer to the Hot Pink book. And page 18, which is, that's 9, pink slip, I know, right? And the 101, is the blueprint of Emo Boogie. But Moorish Civic Services, page 18, 1 and 8, that's a 9. It begins at the bottom of it, the importance of signing everything, underlined everything, all rights reserved.
Yes, sir.
So when you really get into this and start cross-referencing with the Black's Law Dictionary, which I will say, if you guys have brought at least, I would say, a 32 gig hard drive, and you could get all this different information. What I've done, if y'all familiar with Brother Zahir Casanova and Nasir Bey, there's a Google Drive that has a plethora of information, law dictionaries all the way from the 1600s. What I've done is, and I teamed up with Dr. Naila, and what we're trying to do it in an organized fashion, is that if you have at least a 32 gig, I got 18.8 gigs of information, including that 5 gig file with Brother Zahir's, Nasir Casanova Bey's Google Drive, with all law dictionaries, all different types of PDFs and all of that. It's 18.8 gigs. For those that have that, raise your hand, you know what I'm saying? So y'all actually know that it's legit, that it's a file that I can actually just give you guys, so that you can go in further when you're getting reference points from Mother Rahs or Brother Taj or Miz or Anaid or Cujo or anybody. You'll actually have the tools to not just rely on just hearing it, but you can go and research it so that you can actually become what you're reading based off the reference points you were given. With that, I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam, that's a great way of putting it. I just have to tell you that even in that book, it's like, you know, if you're just starting to have to do this stuff, get out of say your job or whatever, you know, slowly moving out. Throughout the whole thing, it says, okay, this is the way you can do it, but this is the way, you know, you ultimately want to be. Like, I didn't really think much of what that was as much. I don't know. I didn't, when I put that together, I didn't think of it in the manner in which it's being thought of right now. So, you know, I don't know how to explain that. I think I explained it. But at the same time, I know it's not to me, it's not the be all and end all of it anyway, because it's an initiation, but that's all right. It's an initial way of walking out. Now, how do I know? Like a lot of this stuff, because maybe I have done it myself. When you know, like he's talking about not paying taxes, not being taxed, not obligated at stores in your local area, but most people want to first get it done at their job. But one of the first mistakes they may or may not make is going in and not knowing how to effectuate that, because it's based on the fact of, first of all, what your status is, right? Also, mainly because it's a contribution. What does that mean? It means you don't have to involve yourself in it. It's voluntary. It's voluntary. Voluntary. But then your job says, no, well, you have to do this. You have to know you don't. So you can, if you go into it from the beginning, it's cleaner. You know, yes.
Anybody grab the microphone?
Social service.
I have a lot of questions, but my last question, I'm sorry. So when you go to get hired for a job and they offer you that tax form, you can decline the form, right?
All right, simple as this. I did this so I know. I need you to know something. Whenever you go to a job, the first thing they're going to do is send you here, give you that W-4. The W-4 is it? Yeah. W-2? 4. It's 4. Yes, right. How you doing, sis? Peace and love. They're going to hand it to you. Hello, it's an offer.
Hand it right back.
You don't. Well, here's what they're going to say. Now, listen. This will really get you to understand. If they don't give that to you, because their contract that they've got to do business from whatever state they're registered says in it, if you don't hand this to the employee, we are going to fine you. That's your job, right? They're going to fine them because they didn't give it to you. Why can't you write up something and say that they did give it to me? Oh, no problem. I'll take care of that. I'll just write up something that says it's in there. You did give it to me so that you won't get fined. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So when they hand you that, it's an offer. So now if you know that they're going to get fined because they have a contract, you say, well, listen, I understand that, You might get fined. And so I don't mind writing a letter that says, you know, that you did offer it to me. Right? Right? Do you think they expect you to know that?
No.
So be innocent. I mean, be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. This is how you present it now. But many people go with the, I need my job to give me the permission. And that's what you get back. Because everybody wants to try to suck and get your finances.
Yes, ma'am.
You got it now?
I sure did.
You need that. Islam, I hope you enjoyed the class, sharing the information. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna do the announcements and so I let them know to come get your book because I think it's gonna be a hot cake today. So, they want to know how much is this going for the Moorish Civic Service.
Five notes.
So it's 5 notes. So yeah, go right at the table.